Welcome to the Resilient Path with Fran Evans. Thank you to the ones who are walking this path with me and to the ones joining for the first time. It is good to have you here. Today's message is from Genesis 17. Genesis 17 opens with the following. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless. I will confirm my covenant between me and you and will greatly increase your numbers. Before I continue, let me explain who Abram was prior to Genesis 17. Abram was 75 years old when God first called him and told him to leave his country, his people, and his father's household. Abram did exactly what God told him to do. He trusted God and he left. By Genesis 13, Abram built an altar and called on the name of the Lord. By Genesis 14, Abram fearlessly rescued his nephew Lot from powerful kings. He honored Melchizedek, the king of Salem, God's Most High, and gave him a tenth of everything. Abram refused wealth from the king of Sodom because he did not want the king of Sodom to say, I made Abram rich. By Genesis 15, Abram is struggling with fear, and the Lord appeared to him in a vision and said, Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your very great reward. Abram was afraid because he did not have a child. He had the promises. The Lord told Abram, I will make your offspring like the dust of the earth and like the stars. He received blessings. God Most High delivered Abram's enemies into his hand. Abram had wealth and possessions, but Abram did not have a child. Yet, Abram believed the Lord, and he credited it to him as righteousness. Genesis 16, Abram's wife Sarai said to him, The Lord has kept me from having children. Sarai gave her Egyptian maidservant Hagar to Abram. Abram slept with Hagar, and she conceived. Hagar gave birth to a son, and Abram named him Ishmael. Abram is 86 years old when Ishmael was born. 11 years after he trusted the Lord and left his country, his people, and his father's household. Genesis 17, Abram is 99 years old. 13 years after Ishmael's birth. 24 years God first called Abram. 24 years of Abram trusting, calling, and walking with the Lord. 24 years, and Abram only had one son, and his wife Sarai did not birth his son. One son. There are no offspring as numerous as the stars, as God had promised. Let that sink in for a few seconds. 24 years. When the Lord appeared to Abram in Genesis 17 and said to him, I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless. I will confirm my covenant between me and you and will greatly increase your numbers. Notice, the Lord told Abram to walk before him and be blameless. The Lord never said, be perfect. In Hebrew, blameless refers to integrity, maturity, and a heart devoted to God. Abram showed maturity when he resolved the conflict between Lot and his herdsmen peacefully. He showed integrity when he refused the wealth offered by the king of Sodom. He showed devotion to the Lord when he left his country, his people, and his father's household, built altars, and continued walking with the Lord for 24 years. Verse 3 says, Abram fell face down, and God said to him, as for me, this is my covenant with you. You will be the father of many nations. No longer will you be called Abram. Your name will be Abraham. For I have made you a father of many nations. I will make you very fruitful. I will make nations of you, and kings will come from you. I will establish my covenant as an everlasting covenant between me and you and your descendants after you for generations to come, to be your God and the God of your descendants after you. The whole land of Canaan, where you are now an alien, I will give as an everlasting possession to you and your descendants after you, and I will be their God. Notice the words, you will. This means that everything the Lord promised Abraham is going to happen. Then God said to Abraham, as for you, you must keep my covenant, you and your descendants after you, for generations to come. This is my covenant with you and your descendants after you. The covenant you are to keep. Every male among you shall be circumcised. You are to undergo circumcision, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and you. For the generations to come, every male among you who is 8 days old must be circumcised, including those born in your household or bought with money from a foreigner, those who are not your offspring. Whether born in your household or bought with money, they must be circumcised. My covenant in your flesh is to be an everlasting covenant. Any uncircumcised male who has not been circumcised in the flesh will be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant. God also said to Abraham, as for Sarai, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai. Her name will be Sarah. I will bless her and will surely give you a son by her. I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of peoples will come from her. This part stands out to me because the Lord also changed Sarai's name, and for the first time, speaking about her future. Before, it was the Lord appearing to Abram in a vision or just talking to Abram without any mention of Sarai until now. To me, changing both names was like a transition or a new beginning as the Lord moved them closer to the fulfillment of his promise. Verse 17 says, Abram fell face down. He laughed and said to himself, will a son be born to a man 100 years old? Will Sarah bear a child at the age of 90? When I read that Abraham laughed, I smiled. Because to me, Abraham's laugh was from amazement, joy, and relief that finally, after 25 years, Abraham and Sarah was going to have a child. Then right after hearing that verse, 18 says, and Abraham said to the Lord, if only Ishmael might live under your blessing. This part is beautiful to me. The Lord just told Abraham he and Sarah was going to have a child, yet Abraham immediately asks about Ishmael. And this makes perfect sense because that was consistent with the character Abraham demonstrated all along from Genesis 12 to now Genesis 17. Ishmael's future was important to him, and he wanted him to be blessed. Then God said, yes, but your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. I will surely bless him. I will make him fruitful and will greatly increase his numbers. He will be the father of 12 rulers, and I will make him into a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you by this time next year. When he had finished speaking with Abraham, God went up from him. In other words, the Lord reassured Abraham that Ishmael will indeed live under his blessing, but the covenant will be with Isaac. Ishmael, blessing, fruitful, greatly increased in numbers, father of 12 rulers, made into a great nation. Isaac, God will establish his covenant with Isaac as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. Verse 23 through 27. On that very day, Abraham took his son Ishmael and all those born in his household or bought with his money, every male in his household, and circumcised them as God told him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and his son Ishmael was 13. Abraham and his son Ishmael was both circumcised on that very day. And every male in Abraham's household, including those born in the household or bought from a foreigner, was circumcised with him. The relationship between the Lord and Abraham in Genesis 17, the Lord told Abraham exactly what was going to happen. Abraham listened. Abraham shared what was on his heart concerning Ishmael. The Lord told Abraham that Ishmael will be blessed. When the Lord finished speaking, Abraham obeyed. On that very day, Abraham, Ishmael, and every male in his household were circumcised, exactly as the Lord had commanded. A little story about myself. I placed my hope in Jesus when I was 8 years old after hearing the conversation between Nicodemus and Jesus in John 3. My life has been a constant journey of highs and lows, disappointments, health challenges, pain, mistakes, and many seasons I did not fully understand. I stumble, I question. Despite everything I face, there is a peace within me that I believe can only come from God. Abraham and Sarah waited 25 years for the promised son. To us, 25 years is a very long time. But God's timing is not our timing. Genesis 17 reminds me that God is faithful. After 24 years, God appeared to Abraham and told him exactly what was about to happen. 1 year later, the promise would be fulfilled. Whatever challenges, disappointments, or hardship we may face, let us continue to trust the Lord. Let us continue to walk with Him, stay connected to Him, and remain aligned with His will. As the Lord told Abraham, "Walk before me and be blameless." Not perfect, blameless. Let us do everything we can to walk before the Lord with integrity, maturity, and hearts devoted to Him. Let me repeat that. Let us do everything we can to walk before the Lord with integrity, maturity, and hearts devoted to Him. I encourage you to read Genesis 17 for yourself. Once again, this is The Resilient Path with Fran Evans. Stay tuned. Genesis 18, coming soon.